Pranav Goa Thakurta from EduTV. Today, we have got a very good panel with us, Mr. Ajay Singh. He's a headmaster, PPS Nabha, Punjab, India. Dr. Priyanka Mehta, Director, Sarvottam International School, Noida Extension, UP, India. Professor Dr. Poonam Devdutt, she's a renowned psychologist and head of the psychology department of Shobit University. As on the 1st of June, government have cancelled the class 12th examination. And now students will be getting marks as the CBSE decides the mechanism, the assessment system. So as in India and abroad, the system of admission is quite different. In India also, a lot of universities take on the basis of the marks, like Delhi University. Then a lot of universities or colleges have their own examination, like IIT, like NID, NIFT, and many others. So, and the students couldn't study properly because it was an online study this year, first time. And they couldn't meet their peers, they couldn't meet their teachers, they couldn't clear their doubts. And in a classroom, in an offline classroom, a teacher is able to find that some students have not understood. They used to pay extra attention to them, and which is missing in online teaching and coaching. Students have missed all their coachings, so they couldn't prepare much for NEET or JEE also. So they're quite worried. And plus, as it is a VUCA world, we also don't know what kind of jobs will be available after 5 years. It's a very dynamic world now. The jobs are changing every day. So there's a lot of anxiety also. Plus, there's a lot of stress among parents also. But today's topic we have kept so that the transition from schools to universities can be smoothened and eased. So I'll request Mr. Ajay Singh, Headmaster PPS Nabha, former principal of Genesis Global School, Noida, to give his advice and views on the subject. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pranav, and thank you, EduTV, for inviting us. And good afternoon, ladies. The question which is being raised here by you, Pranav, is a very relevant one, because at the moment, the entire crux of the matter is how to mark and grade the class 12th outgoing batch of this year so that they can fit in the universities. The whole problem has been the setting in of the pandemic and the subsequent problems associated with the pandemic. So the question is about how do these grades, which are being decided by CBSE or the council, come into action? Because as rightly pointed out, the schooling did have a catastrophic impact over the last year, as well as this year. So the marking becomes a variable for this year, a very important variable. And if the DU firmly believes that it will stick on to the marking system, so we don't know how the schools, because this is a very tricky kind of assumption, how the schools will grade their students. And if the schools do decide to be unfair and fair or overcompensate the marks, then whatever reaches to the boards is not a standardized kind of an assessment what the examinations could provide. So in light of this unstandardized assessment, it becomes very difficult to place A above B or B above C. So this is where the entire problem is. So what I would say is the entire system, which will just take a minute to be putting in perspective, has been questionable since long. I believe the schooling was not looking at preparing a child for the university. It was merely preparing the child for marks. And that's where the gap is, what I believe, right? So we never prepared them for the university. Now, what happens in the foreign universities? Let's take the example there and then come back to the question. They do look at your marks component, but they also look at a lot of recommendations, which they give a lot of value to. You know, the recommendations by teachers for pursuing, let's say, economics as a subject, or let's say psychology as a subject. It's looked at very deeply, and your personal profiling is equally important. Then also they look at your personality in terms of your leadership, in terms of decision making. So that becomes a very important point. Along with it, they also have some standardized tests, which are taken online, offline, both the ways. So now if we come back to the question, and in Indian perspective, we look at it, yes, we cannot hold an offline examination for the technical examinations, but we can certainly hold an online examination because they have this formula, they have this prerequisite, they can just shift on to the online. But again, the child cannot go to a center. Now that's a problem. And the liability of assuming that the child will be fair at home is at the present moment, I will not put my money on it because we are not yet totally a society which believes more in honesty. So these are the two outlying factors which are in doubt. So what's the way out? Now, the only way out which I look at is, let us call the applications, let us look at the results, and whatever courses they're applying for. Now, majorly, which are the segments which are getting affected? It's the graduation courses of arts, sciences, commerce. These are the major, where the seats were maximum deep. So how do we select the students? So at the moment, what I'm looking at is, let us call the applications, let us look at the marks, but why can't we on a Zoom have a set of counselors appointed by the university, have an interaction with the child face to face, and do a traditional Viva system? A Viva is a very powerful mechanism which you cannot fudge. Either you know the things or don't know the things. So we can gauge either by Viva, we can look at the profile, we can look at some recommendations by the schools, and then we can come forward with a type of a standardized assessment for which I think our counselors will have to be trained beforehand. Because right now, DU has been very fair. Even Mumbai University, they look at the marks. But Christ, their admission process has really gone ahead. So they've taken your pre-board marks, they ask for your profile, they ask for predicted grades, and the basis of that, they offer you a conditional admission. Even if you look at Ashoka University, I would even take that as a model. They make you write an essay. And once you are offered by them for a particular course, they make you write an essay on the spot as well. So that, you match what you wrote online is also matched offline. So there is no discrepancy in the way a student is judged. So right now we'll have to be flexible. The marks can only be A. Along with the marks, which the schools will provide, which the boards will provide. And then you can have recommendations coming in. You can have Viva going on for which the counselors will have to be trained. The teachers will have to be trained because we should not take it as a rejection exercise. As Indians, we always love rejecting. So if you look at the counselors in the universities abroad, they are very well trained. They read each and every word in the personal statement. They read each and every word in your letter of recommendations. They don't ignore anything. So that's how they are trained. We have not been done it. So we'll have to do it at a very fast pace. For the engineering and all those examinations which are offline, which are online at the moment, you'll have to devise a formula where there can be an in-lock system. Suppose you come out of it, then it automatically puts you out. So there has to be some checks and balances if you plan for an online system. But what I would suggest is, let's wait. It doesn't matter if you wait for 2 months. When it's on the wane, let's try and get the vaccinations done on a priority basis as the government is looking, so that we can be really close to finding a better solution. Now see, we are uploading marks of 11th and 12th. 11th, as mentioned, is typically seen where they get low marks. So now what we are doing is we are putting that marks out of 100. Even the board understands this. We had a long meeting yesterday with the council, but the 12th marks and all, they're rationalized. So they will do their own moderation, which I'm sure about. But at the same time, my only concern is the school should not fudge. So if you look at the school university transition, it is a challenging time. We have to be open with ideas, take in the inputs, and allow every child to have a chance to get admitted. Do not reject because of this prevailing circumstance. It will take time. We'll have to invest time in it. Let's take 2 months to get this entire process done and carry forward. Otherwise, students will be really, really left out of the race.
I think, Mr. Singh, you gave a wonderful example of Christ University. Sir, they have completed their admission process.
Yeah, my kids have got into it.
Yes, so they have completed. So I think it's what they planned beforehand only. They predicted things and worked accordingly. Now I would request Dr. Priyanka Mehta, who has been heading prestigious schools like Delhi Public Schools, Amity Schools, and now she's a director of Sarvattam International School, and she has started it as a greenfield project and took up the school to great heights. She has got very good number of students. She does a lot of activities. She's always there. She's always after new activities like student exchange programs. so many things, and she's always there for the students and parents. Dr. Priyanka, we would like to have your views on the subject.
Thanks, Pranav. Good evening, everyone. I think Mr. Singh has said it all, has put the entire thing in perspective already. What I want to understand right now and I want to discuss is that where we're very sure and we're very clear. And I think all schools right now are looking at how to, kind of bridge the gap between what has happened and what is going to happen. I want to say that there's also another perspective wherein we are looking at schools in the cities and schools pan India. Now that is going to be huge. It just a decision regarding class 12 exams is not only for the children and for the schools in the cities. It's a pan India decision. So there are a lot of children. I want to say is that our children have a little bit more clarity. I feel because the principals, the likes of stalwarts we have in Mr. Singh and others around, we are able to, we've somehow kind of conditioned the children from the very beginning because we know that children from our areas are the ones who move abroad. So the profiling part and the, to understand how to write an LOR, how to understand, how to kind of get your recommendations straight. In most of the cities, we've been doing that with schools, but we've been doing that with schools that are already, engaged with sending children abroad. I am also worried about children who never thought abroad but were looking only in the country. And that also includes children of our schools as well as children who are outside the periphery of a posh city or a A grade city. Now here, I totally agree with sir that somewhere I think once where the students are aligned from the school side, a lot needs to be dropped from the universities end also. And we're absolutely right, wherein we don't know whether even this year children will be able to meet the admission teams offline or it's still going to be online. We still don't know whether, I don't know, I don't want to be sounding pessimistic here, but I don't know if we're going offline next year as well. We don't know how this disease is going to turn around in the event. And yes, vaccinations are going to play a huge role. Nevertheless, the admission process, like sir said, Christ has done it, and I was very impressed with Christ myself because fortunately my daughter is doing her masters from Christ, and the kind of systems that they evolved back in I think Jan, as early as Jan, for the new students and for the children who were coming coming back for courses was amazing. Not forgetting that, I feel that somewhere the universities will have to understand that a lot may not be done for what exams have already happened in the schools now. Like us, we understood what was happening from probably what happened last year, and we kind of took up better means of taking exams. We did have our offline exams. What about the other cities and places where children have not been able to sit for exams at all? So what kind of moderation is going to go there? If Delhi University, I was little unhappy to hear what Delhi University is doing because this was not the time to talk of cutoffs at all, where we are struggling with families where children have lost parents. This is one huge aspect. I'm sure Dr. Poonam would be meeting such children because we are struggling with children who I think are blessed with the PM's decision because they were not in a state of mind to write their exams at all. So, if we have gone that far to understand for the welfare of these children, I think the universities definitely need to rethink how to accept children in a much better manner. Now, considering that, I think let's talk about what happened 2 years back, 3 years back. Okay, the last offline class I think for the children who are currently in class 12 was 10. If I'm right, Mr. Singh, yeah, 10th was an offline class. So if we can now bring in a process where the universities ask children that, all right, online, write down the pointers, pick up credits online, tell us what all you've done in the last 3 years. Now, if CBSE for class results could see moderation over 3 years, that okay, we'll give you the best base year over 3 years, whichever is your year, you take that as a base year and then build up your results. We can also look at the same model for children to file in their credentials. I am very sure most of the children, 90% of the children are involved in some activity or the other. Schools have helped them. So this is just the right point to bring in the NEP 2020 in its full right form, wherein it was decided that the schools and the universities are going to be aligned. Why are we even wasting one more opportunity here? I think it's just the right time we could tell the university and the schools that align a system where what you gave is understood by the university, and what university wants, why not convey it back to school so that schools can prepare the outline of the children, or the profile of the children along, according to that, and hand it forward. I think it's something that can be done easily. May not be so easy for schools who are not following a proper counseling and career guidance plan. There is a huge gap there. I know many schools, Pranav, where there are no counselors, there are no career helpers, then there are no, nothing of the sort happens. Now, I'm worried about those children, because those were the ones who were totally dependent on going to the admission office, buying a form, finding out what is required, and then filling it up. And the results were a major part. Sirf, they've just read. They were just reading to perform in the examination, get a good percentage, and get into college. Now that population will have to be looked into carefully. And anybody who's looking at making policies for class 12 getting into universities right now, I think must not forget these children who have only done enough to get good marks. I know I have about 3-4 of them who would not participate in anything, because no ma'am, we I need to get a 99%, or I need to get a 98%, because that's what is the cutoff going to be. And I am targeting one particular college or one particular course. Now, this child really doesn't have much to write in a profile. So, what happens to them? Now, here, this child probably never attended an offline exam or a class test, because the child was very focused. Ki mujhe apna, I have to do my coaching, I have to do my this. And I let the internals be like 5 on 10 or 50 on 100, but I'm sure to score a 99% in the board. Now, this child is at a huge disadvantage, because we would not have evidences to support any extrapolation in marks that even if we want to put in, we can't. Now, that kind of decisions are the principals are struggling with, because these are the children. I remember speaking to one of my friends yesterday, and the only concern she had was that I'm so worried my topper is going to go unnoticed. Right. So the child was supposed to be a 99%. She said, I'm sure it would be a 99.2345. But now with the internals that the first child has got, I can't put in an extrapolation of what, 40%, 50%. We can't do that. So yes, it's going to be a challenge, but I'm only looking forward to what people are thinking at the policy levels, because it's not as easy as saying that the boards will not happen. It's not as easy as that. It's really difficult, and a lot more entails than just deciding whether the children are writing exams or not.
Thank you, Dr. Mehta. Professor Dr. Poonam, I find quite strange. I don't know if our fellow will agree to that, yes or not. Like for getting psychology in Delhi University, the cutoff percentage is 100%.
Yeah.
I think for a psychologist, he or she should interact with the community, meet people. I don't think they will have much time to mug up things and vomit out there. Same goes with political science. A political science can be taken by a student who had science also in 12th. It's not necessarily came from this humanity background only. For that also, they have got 99%, 98%. And plus, then one more thing, ma'am, like you said, Dr. Mehta said a very good thing. The schools don't have a counselor. We have definitely witnessed it. Mr. Ajay Singh knows. We went to Mr. Pramod Sharma's village, Chandausi. The students were, ma'am, touching our feet. Because they were never seen them. They were thinking us as a counselor. And they were bringing food for us, water for us. They got mad because आज तक किसी ने हमें समझाया नहीं है. It was a good school. Students also got into IIT from there. So one more thing is, Dr. Devdutt, lot of students prefer a college over a course. कि अच्छा college मिल जाए, course हम कोई भी कर लें.
Yeah.
That is also, I think, no, I don't know ma'am, what is the theory behind these things?
Okay, thank you, Pranav, for organizing this discussion. And you have asked a very, very relevant question. This whole question of a cutoff of 100% for entry into psychology honors. Personally, I am not a big fan of this whole system of scoring 100% because by its very nature, it is an extremely illogical score. What are we trying to say? That this person knows everything. When we say 100% means he knows everything about all those subjects, so which is not realistic. And this whole idea of giving full scores has it's become ridiculous because there are schools which advertise that we have got so many students scoring 100%. So it's illogical, it is unrealistic. But disruption caused by COVID, in a way, in the long run, perhaps it may prove to be an advantage because how? Because it is make creating these conditions wherein we have to rethink the entire system. So this system, which had been building up over the past few years, where only marks were taken into account for admissions, the COVID pandemic has given us an opportunity to rethink the entire education system. So perhaps in the long run, maybe 5 years from now, we will be thankful that this happened in the sense that it gave us an opportunity to revamp the whole system of admission. Now, to come back to the current situation, let me tell you how my university dealt with this lockdown right from the day the lockdown was declared. So this was in March 2020 when we were told that from now there's a total lockdown from tomorrow, and so everything had to shut down. My university, we held a faculty meeting on that very day. And from the very next day, our entire teaching learning process went online. So we have this ERP system. It's an entirely a digital system of online lectures. And our faculty worked day and night for creating e-content, for creating PowerPoint presentations, and then delivering those lectures online. So we were able to complete our courses, and we had our examination also through the ERP system. We had online examinations, and our results were declared by 30th of June 2020. So what I meant is that we were able to convert the entire education process online, and that is how we have been carrying it on. In the past few months, when things had eased out a little, we did open up the university. Students started coming to the department. So we were then in dual mode. So some lectures were online and some were offline. But of course, once the second wave started, again, now everything is completely online. So we have been responding to the situation from day one. And it was a couple of months, it was in the month of March and April that the university took a decision of, revamping the entry system also, the admission process also. So now let me share with you our process for admission. So 3 months ago, we took this decision that we will not wait for the class 12 results to be declared because we knew class 10 has been declared that it's not going to be held and class 12 was doubtful. So rather than stay in a state of indecision, we took a decision that we are not going to wait for class 12 results. So now what has happened is we have this website, university website. Any student seeking admission goes to that website, goes to the admission portal, fills up the form. So we are taking into account his marks in class 10, in class 11, and whatever marks he may have from class 12, whether it is unit test or whether it is half yearlies or practicals. all those can be uploaded. Then thereafter, we take a personal interview. We interview each candidate personally. So I'm on that panel for interview. So every candidate is interviewed separately, wherein now we've already got his academic background, but we talk to the student about his involvement in extracurricular activities, his the vision for the future, his dreams for his future career, how well he is connected to his social obligations and so on. So all these things we judge during the personal interview. So it's not just about the marks which he has scored in the past. It is also about how he has adapted to this situation, what his level of engagement has been in extracurricular activities, and what is his vision for the future. And on the basis of this entire profile, we offer admission to the child. Now, as and when the class 12 results are declared, he may file those marks, and as long as he meets the eligibility criteria, the admission is confirmed. So what we have tried to do is to adapt the previous situation in the light of the changed circumstances so that the child does not suffer. As the principals here have already mentioned, what are the challenges which students have faced in the last 1 year. And as the members of the higher education committees are absolutely aware of all these challenges faced by parents as well as students, so we have developed this admission process whereby even if the child's marks have been low, but we see potential in him, we see enthusiasm in him, we see commitment in him, we are willing to offer him admission. So that's how Shobit University has dealt with this situation.